UFC FIT stands for Full Body Intensity Training, and it's the first ever in-home training system endorsed by the UFC. They selected me to be the coach and creator of the program based upon my success with their greatest athletes, guys like Vitor Belfort, Johnny Hendricks, Chael Sonnen, Ronda Rousey, and that list goes on and on. I've worked with over 100 UFC athletes in my career and continue to do so. Well, that's the thing about UFC FIT. When the idea was first pitched to me, it was called UFC Training Camp. You know, how to train like a UFC fighter, and it was really focused on the 18 to 34-year-old male, which is great. And when I sat down with the executives at the UFC, I said, guys, there's so many more people on this planet that need our help. We need to extend this to everybody, and I say capital B-O-D-Y, that any human walking the planet can benefit from UFC FIT. Because it's the same science I use to build the world's greatest athletes in a package that anybody can do. It's 4 3-week training cycles that start you off from the very basics. So you can be sitting on your couch, 50 pounds overweight, haven't worked out in years, and you can start day one of UFC FIT right alongside a professional athlete, and each of you get an amazing workout. At the end of 12 weeks, you'll both be in world-class shape, regardless. The average weight loss that we've experienced for a man is 40 pounds in that 12-week time. For females, it's anywhere between 15 and 30 pounds in that 12-week period, where they achieve this body that they never thought that they could have, and we have the testimonials that actually support this. At one point in my life, I was 282 pounds. I was sitting behind a desk. I was a municipal tax assessor. Now, I was also a strength coach working with world-class athletes, but that was, my part-time business. My full-time was, working in taxation. And I hated it. I hated my life. I hated my body. And I made a great paycheck. Everything was perfect on paper. But inside my own skin, I knew this wasn't my body. This wasn't the life I wanted. And I wanted to make a change. And that's when I really started to focus on longevity-based nutrition instead of performance-based nutrition. Now, that's a big difference. What we've done with UFC FIT and what I've done with my UFC athletes, I've taken that longevity-based nutrition and implemented it and crossed it over to the performance side, and we've seen the results. You see my athletes, when they step on the scale, when they step inside the octagon, they are in absolutely the best shape of any athlete on the planet, and they're happy. I think UFC as a brand itself it's the fastest growing sport in the world. Dana White said that's because everybody understands a fist fight. No matter what your culture is, on every continent, every country, every city, every town, we all know what a fight looks like, and we're all interested. We want to watch it. Hanging on to secrets, leaving me no escape. If you're thinking about taking UFC, you need to get the gym box right now, and you need to start training. UFC FIT, that's very important because you can get in, you can get used to the curriculum, used to the program, used to the movements. And if you want to compete in MMA, that's great, but you don't have to compete. You never have to be in a fight in your life, and hopefully you're not. But you should be able to know how to do it, and at the very least, you should be able to achieve the shape, the conditioning, and the physicality of the athletes inside the octagon that do so. I mean, they're Olympic-level athletes, and we can all have that type of body. They're human, just like the rest of us. So there's no reason why we shouldn't have that same ability. Yeah, I think starting here with Gymbox, this is the first step into the UK territory with UFC FIT, and we couldn't have chosen a better partner. With that, I think we're going to sweep the entire country. Once the country sees what we're doing with UFC FIT, they see the success of the individuals here at Gymbox and the lifestyle program that we're promoting, the results will be exponential. I mean, every friend, every neighbor, every coworker, every teammate is going to see somebody doing UFC FIT, and they're going to want to join in also.